I remember the smell of that office. Leather. Expensive cologne. The kind of place that screams success before you even sit down. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking downtown LA. The city stretching out like it belonged to us. To him, really. David Sterling's name was on everything. The awards lining the shelves. The framed magazine covers. The contracts that made careers. Mine included. I was sitting across from him. Same chair I'd sat in 100 times before. Same view. Same confident smile on his face. But something felt different that day. Something in the air, thick and heavy, like the moment before a storm breaks. We'd just closed a deal with Nike. $12 million over 3 years. My biggest endorsement yet. I should have been celebrating. Should have been calling my mom, my brother, posting something on social media. But David wanted to talk first. Said there were some things we needed to discuss. Administrative stuff. Boring, he'd said, but necessary. I trusted him. Why wouldn't I? David found me when I was nobody. A sophomore at UCLA with decent stats and big dreams. He saw something in me that no one else did. Took me under his wing. Guided every decision. Every contract. Every move. He turned me into Marcus Thompson, all-star shooting guard. 2-time champion. Face of a franchise. He made me. Or at least, that's what I believed. David leaned back in his chair, fingers steepled, that same easy grin he always wore when he was about to sell me something, but this time the grin felt wrong, too wide, too rehearsed. "Marcus," he said, voice smooth as silk, "we need to talk about how we're handling your finances moving forward." I nodded. "Okay, what's up?" He stood, walked over to the window, hands in his pockets. Classic David move. Make you wait, build the tension, control the room. "You know I've always had your best interests at heart, right?" he said, not looking at me. "Everything I've done, every deal I've made, it's been about building your legacy, protecting your future. I know, man. I appreciate everything you've done." He turned, and for a split second I saw something flicker across his face, something cold. But then the smile was back, warm and familiar. "Good, because what I'm about to propose is going to sound unusual, but I need you to trust me on this." I felt my stomach tighten. "What do you mean?" David walked back to his desk, pulled out a folder, slid it across to me. I opened it. Legal documents, pages and pages of them. Words I didn't understand, terms I'd never heard of. "From now on," he said, sitting down, leaning forward like we were discussing game strategy, "I want your salary sent directly to my account. All of it. Endorsements too. I'll manage everything. Allocate what you need for expenses, investments, savings. It's cleaner this way, more efficient." I stared at him. The words didn't make sense. Not at first. "Wait, you want my money sent to you?" "To an account I control, yes. On your behalf." He said it so casually, like he was asking me to pass the salt. "Marcus, you're making $32 million a year now, plus endorsements. That's over $40 million annually. You need professional management, real structure. I've been doing this informally, but we need to formalize it. Make it official." My mouth felt dry. "But it's already in my account. You have access. You handle everything already." "Access isn't control," he said, voice firmer now. "This is about protection, Marcus. About making sure no one can touch your money. Not the IRS, not creditors, not gold diggers or family members coming out of the woodwork asking for handouts. Family members." The way he said it made my jaw clench. My brother Troy had been asking questions lately, looking at some of the numbers. Said things didn't add up. David didn't like that. "I don't know, David. That sounds unusual?" "I know, but so is your situation. You're not a normal person anymore, Marcus. You're a brand, an asset, and assets need protection." He tapped the folder. "This is standard practice for clients at your level. I do it for 3 other players. They're thriving. No stress, no worries, just basketball." He named 2 players I knew, both superstars. Both trusted David completely. "Just sign the documents," he continued. "Your lawyer can review them if you want, but honestly, Marcus, after everything we've been through, I thought we were past needing lawyers between us." There it was, the guilt, the manipulation wrapped in friendship. He was good at that. Always had been. I looked down at the papers. My signature line, blank, waiting. "I need time to think about this," I said. His smile faded, just a fraction, but I saw it. "Time? Marcus, we've been together for 6 years. I've made you over $100 million. What's there to think about?" "It's a big decision, David. It's a formality." His voice had an edge now, sharp. You trust me, don't you? The question hung there, heavy and loaded. Of course I do. Then sign. I picked up the pen, felt its weight in my hand. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Text from Troy. We still on for dinner tonight? I thought about my brother, 24 years old, smart as hell, studying law, always asking the right questions, always protecting me, even when I didn't ask him to. Let me talk to Troy first, I said, setting the pen down. David's expression went cold. Actually cold. No smile, no charm. Your brother isn't your financial advisor, Marcus. I am. And frankly, his interference has been problematic. He doesn't understand how this business works. He's a kid playing lawyer. He's family. So am I. David stood, walked around the desk, put his hand on my shoulder. The gesture felt wrong, possessive. Haven't I been there for you? When your dad left? When you tore your ACL? When the media tried to destroy you over that club incident? Who protected you? You did. Exactly. So let me keep protecting you. Sign the papers. Stop letting people who don't understand this world plant doubt in your head. I felt the pressure of his hand, the weight of 6 years of trust, 6 years of him being right about everything. But I also felt something else, something I'd been ignoring for months, a whisper in the back of my mind that started when I noticed the investment account he told me about didn't exist. When I called the financial advisor, he said he hired and got a disconnected number. When I saw him driving a new Bentley the same week, I asked about a $15,000 discrepancy in my quarterly statement. Small things, easy to explain away, easy to ignore, until they weren't. I need 24 hours, I said, standing up, just to process this. David's jaw tightened. Marcus, 24 hours, David. That's all I'm asking. He stared at me for a long moment, then stepped back, forced the smile back onto his face. Of course, take your time. But Marcus, understand something. He picked up the folder, held it out to me. This offer expires tomorrow. After that, our arrangement changes. I can't keep managing your affairs informally. If you don't trust me enough to formalize this, then maybe we need to reconsider our entire relationship. It was a threat. Polite, professional, but a threat nonetheless. I took the folder, walked to the door, stopped. David, can I ask you something? Anything? Where did the $300,000 from the Gatorade deal go? The one we signed in June? Silence. Long enough that I turned around. He was still smiling, but his eyes were different, calculating. Reinvested, I told you that. Real estate portfolio in Miami. It's in your quarterly report. I called the property management company. They said they've never heard of me. Another pause. Shorter this time. Different subsidiary. I'll get you the paperwork. When? Soon. I nodded. Opened the door. Marcus, he called out. Don't let Troy poison this. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I didn't respond. Just walked out, down the hallway, past the receptionist who smiled like everything was normal, into the elevator, alone. As the doors closed, I looked at my reflection in the polished steel. Expensive suit, championship ring, face that appeared on billboards across the country. But in that moment, I didn't recognize myself. I pulled out my phone, texted Troy, "We need to talk, tonight. And bring everything you found." The elevator descended, 32 floors, each one feeling heavier than the last. The lobby was massive, marble floors, security guards nodding as I passed, people pretending not to stare but pulling out their phones the second they thought I wasn't looking. I pushed through the revolving doors into the Los Angeles heat. My car was waiting, black Mercedes S-Class, driver standing by the door. "Home, Mr. Thompson?" he asked. "No, take me to the practice facility." He nodded, opened the door. I slid into the back seat, tossed the folder onto the seat next to me, stared at it like it was a bomb. The car pulled into traffic. I watched the city slide past, billboards with my face selling sneakers, energy drinks, watches, Marcus Thompson, the brand, the product, the asset. When did I stop being a person? My phone rang. Mom. I almost didn't answer, almost let it go to voicemail, but I couldn't do that to her. "Hey, Ma. Baby, I saw the Nike announcement. $12 million. My son." Her voice was warm, proud, the same voice that used to wake me up at 5 in the morning for practice when I was 13. "Your father would be so proud." Would he? I wanted to ask. The man who walked out when I was 15, who missed every game, every achievement, every moment that mattered. But I didn't say that. "Thanks, Ma. You sound tired. You okay?" Mothers always know, no matter how good you think you're hiding it. Just a long day. Had a meeting with David. A pause. How is David? The way she said his name. Careful, like she was testing the water. He's good. Same as always. Marcus, I need to ask you something, and I want you to be honest with me. I sat up straighter. What's wrong? Have you looked at your accounts recently? Actually looked at them? My stomach dropped. Why are you asking me that? Because Troy came to see me last week. Showed me some things. Numbers that don't make sense. Payments to companies that don't exist. He's worried, baby. And when he's worried, I'm worried. I closed my eyes. What did he show you? Too much for me to understand, but enough to make me wonder if David is as trustworthy as we all thought. The words hit me like a punch. My mother, who loved David like a son, who thanked him at every family gathering for taking care of me, who trusted him completely. If she was questioning him, then something was really wrong. I'm meeting Troy tonight, I said. We're going to figure this out. Good. And Marcus, listen to me. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care about the houses or the cars or any of it. What I care about is you, the real you. Don't let anyone take advantage of that. Not even someone you trust. I won't, Ma. I love you, baby. Love you too. I hung up, stared at my phone, thought about all the conversations I'd had with David over the years, all the times he'd made decisions for me, all the times I'd signed papers without reading them because he said it was just routine. How much had I given away without even knowing it? The car pulled into the practice facility parking lot. Empty, this time of day. The team had practice in the morning, and most guys were either home or out somewhere. I liked it empty. Liked the silence. I'll be a couple hours, I told the driver. Yes, sir. I walked through the back entrance, past the training room, the film room, the coaches' offices, made my way to the court. The lights were off, but enough sunlight came through the high windows to see. The hardwood gleamed. The nets hung still. The championship banners watching from the rafters. This was my church. The only place that made sense anymore. I grabbed a ball from the rack, walked to the three-point line, and shot. Nothing but net. The sound echoed through the empty arena. I grabbed another ball. Shot again. Made it. Again. 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 Muscle memory. Repetition. Control. Everything in my life felt like it was spinning out of control, but here, on this court, I knew exactly what I was doing. Every movement precise. Every shot calculated. Every outcome predictable. I kept shooting until my arms ached, until sweat soaked through my shirt, until my mind finally quieted enough to think clearly. David wanted total control of my money, not access. Control. That wasn't protection. That was ownership. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized Troy was right. The numbers didn't add up. The investments that vanished, the accounts that didn't exist, the explanations that never quite made sense. David had been lying to me. For how long, I didn't know. But long enough to get comfortable. Long enough to think I'd never question him. My phone buzzed. Text from Troy. Just left the library. On my way to your place. Got everything organized. You're not going to like what I found. I stared at the message. Part of me wanted to ignore it. Wanted to believe David was telling the truth. That there was some explanation. That 6 years of trust meant something. But the other part of me, the part that survived in this league by reading defenses and anticipating moves, knew better. David was dirty, and I'd been too blind to see it. I grabbed my bag, left the court, walked back to the car. The sun was setting now, painting the sky orange and purple. Beautiful. The kind of sunset that should make you feel grateful. But all I felt was angry. Angry at David for betraying me. Angry at myself for being so stupid. Angry at the world for making everything so complicated. The car pulled up to my house. 8,000 square feet in the hills. Pool, view, security gate. Everything a successful NBA player was supposed to want. Troy's car was already in the driveway. An old Honda Civic he'd had since college refused to let me buy him something nicer. Said it built character. I walked inside, found him in the dining room, papers spread across the table, laptop open, calculator, legal pads covered in notes. He looked up when I walked in, and I saw it in his eyes. The same look he had when he was 12 and had to tell me our dad wasn't coming back. It's bad, isn't it? I said. Troy nodded. Worse than I thought. I sat down across from him, looked at the papers. Numbers, bank statements, contracts, invoices. Tell me everything. He took a deep breath. David's been stealing from you for at least 3 years, maybe longer. I can only trace back 3 years because that's when you started getting electronic statements. Before that, everything was paper, and I'm guessing he destroyed most of it. How much? Conservatively? 8 million. But I think it's closer to 12. The number hit me like a freight train. $12 million, gone. Stolen by a man I called brother. How? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Troy started going through it, point by point. The fake investment companies, the inflated management fees, the phantom expenses, the contracts with clauses I never saw, the offshore accounts, the shell corporations. David had built an entire network designed to funnel my money into his pockets. And he'd done it so carefully, so methodically, that I never noticed. What about the other players, I asked. The ones he said he does this for? I looked into that. He represents 4 other players. I can't access their financials, but I did some digging. 2 of them fired him in the last year, quietly. No public announcement, just changed representation. Why? I'm guessing they figured out what he was doing. I felt sick. Actually sick. Like I might throw up right there on my dining room table. There's more, Troy said quietly. How can there be more? He pulled out another document. This one looked official. Legal letterhead. This is a contract David had you sign 2 years ago. Remember the real estate deal in Vegas? The one he said was going to triple your money? Yeah, the casino project. It doesn't exist, Marcus. Never did. This contract gave David power of attorney over a specific investment account, except there was no investment. He just moved $2 million into an account only he could access. I stared at the signature at the bottom of the page. My signature. My name. My trust. I'm an idiot, I said. No, you're trusting. There's a difference. Not in this business. Troy closed the laptop, leaned back in his chair. So what do you want to do? What can I do? Legally, we can report him, file charges, get law enforcement involved, but that's going to be public. The media will destroy this story. Your name will be everywhere. They'll make you look naive, stupid, like you deserved it. What's the other option? We confront him, privately, get him to return the money, make him sign an agreement, and then you fire him and walk away. And if he refuses, then we go nuclear, charges, lawyers, public trial, destroy his reputation and his business. I thought about it. Both options felt like losing. One meant public humiliation. The other meant letting him get away with it, at least partially. I want my money back, I said. All of it. And I want him to know, that he didn't fool me forever. Troy nodded. Then we need to be smart about this. We need leverage. What kind of leverage? The kind that makes him more afraid of what happens if he doesn't cooperate than what happens if he does. I looked at my brother. 24 years old, studying law at USC, working 2 jobs to pay his tuition because he refused to let me pay for everything. Smart, loyal, everything I should have valued more than money or fame or trust in the wrong person. Thank you, I said, for looking out for me. That's what brothers do. We spent the next 3 hours going through everything, building a case, documenting every theft, every lie, every piece of evidence we'd need to bury David Sterling if it came to that. By the time we finished, it was after midnight. My phone had 17 missed calls, 12 from David, 5 from my publicist. I listened to one of David's voicemails. Marcus, we need to talk. I don't appreciate you questioning me like you did today. After everything I've done for you, call me back. Tonight. The entitlement in his voice. The audacity. I deleted the message. Tomorrow, I said to Troy. We end this tomorrow. He gathered up the papers, organized everything into a folder. You sure you're ready? Was I? Ready to confront the man who shaped my career? Ready to admit I'd been played? Ready to face the possibility that everything I'd built was partially based on a lie? No, I said honestly, but I don't have a choice. Troy left. I walked through my empty house, 8,000 square feet of success, pictures on the walls from championship parades, awards on shelves, jerseys framed behind glass. All of it felt hollow now. I ended up in my home gym, turned on the lights, looked at myself in the mirror. Still the same face, same body, same person, but different somehow. Like a mask had been ripped off and I was seeing myself clearly for the first time. I'd been so focused on becoming Marcus Thompson the player that I'd forgotten to protect Marcus Thompson the person. I'd handed that job to David, trusted him with everything, and he'd exploited that trust, systematically, deliberately, without remorse. Tomorrow I'd get my power back. Tomorrow I'd face him and demand the truth. Tomorrow I'd find out who I really was when everything I thought I knew turned out to be a lie. But tonight, in this empty house, surrounded by the proof of a success that felt increasingly meaningless, I was just a man who'd trusted the wrong person, and that was the loneliest feeling in the world. I didn't sleep. Not really. Just laid there in the dark, staring at the ceiling, replaying every conversation I'd ever had with David. Every signature, every handshake, every time he'd looked me in the eye and promised he had my best interests at heart. How many of those promises were lies? At 5 in the morning, I gave up trying to sleep. Got up, made coffee, sat in my kitchen and watched the sun rise over Los Angeles. The city looked peaceful from up here, clean, like everything made sense. But I knew better now. My phone buzzed. Text from Troy. "I'm up. Ready when you are. We do this on your terms." I texted back. His office, 10 a.m. "Don't tell him you're coming." 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Then, "You sure? He's going to be defensive. Might get ugly." "Good. Let him squirm." I showered, put on a suit. The same suit I'd worn when I signed my first contract with the team. David had picked it out. Said image mattered. That people needed to see me as a professional. Looking at myself in the mirror now, I wondered how much of me was real and how much was just what David had constructed. I drove myself this time. Didn't want a driver, didn't want a witness, just me, the road, and the weight of what I was about to do. The drive to David's office felt longer than usual. Every red light, every slow driver, every mile between me and the truth. I parked in the garage, took the elevator up. The same receptionist from yesterday smiled when I walked in. "Mr. Thompson, good morning. Mr. Sterling wasn't expecting you today." "It's a surprise," I said. She looked uncertain. "He's on a call. Should I let him know you're here?" "Don't bother, I'll wait in his office." I walked past her before she could protest. Down the hallway, past the photos of David with celebrities, athletes, politicians, his empire, his kingdom, built on lies. I pushed open his office door. He was at his desk, phone pressed to his ear, laughing about something. When he saw me, the laugh died. "I'll call you back," he said into the phone. Hung up. Stood. "Marcus, what are you doing here? We need to talk." "I can see that. You look like hell. Didn't sleep?" "Not much." He gestured to the chair across from his desk. "Sit. Let's talk about whatever's bothering you." I stayed standing. "I'm not signing your papers." His expression shifted. Subtle. But I caught it. Annoyance. Frustration. "Marcus, we discussed this yesterday. I thought you were going to take time to think about it." "I did. All night. And my answer is no." He sat down slowly, folded his hands on his desk. "Can I ask why?" "Because I don't trust you anymore." The words hung in the air between us. Heavy. Final. David's face went blank. "Excuse me?" "You heard me." He leaned back in his chair. "Marcus, I don't know what Troy's been telling you, but this isn't about Troy. This is about $300,000 from Gatorade that vanished, about investment accounts that don't exist, about properties in Miami I supposedly own but can't find any record of." I explained all of that. "No, you gave me excuses. There's a difference." His jaw tightened. "I've been managing your finances for 6 years. I've made you wealthy beyond your wildest dreams, and now you're going to question me because your brother, who has 0 experience in this business, decides to play detective. Troy found $8 million you can't account for. Want to explain that?" David stood up, walked to the window, looked out at the city like I wasn't there. "You want to know the truth, Marcus? Fine. I've been moving money around, protecting it from taxes, from lawsuits, from people who would take advantage of you. It's not theft, it's strategy." "Then show me the accounts." "It's complicated." "Then uncomplicate it." He turned around, and for the first time since I'd known him, I saw something raw in his face. Anger. Real anger. "You don't understand how this world works. You think you're special because you can put a ball in a hoop? You're a product, Marcus, that's it. And I'm the one who made you valuable. Without me, you'd be nothing. Some kid from Compton with a decent jump shot." The mask was off. No more charm. No more manipulation. Just pure contempt. "There it is," I said quietly. "The real you." "The real me?" "The real me is the guy who's been cleaning up your messes for 6 years. The DUI you got that I made disappear. The paternity suit from that girl in Miami. The gambling debts. I protected you from all of it. I never had a DUI. Not officially, because I handled it. I've never gambled in my life. Doesn't matter what you remember. Matters what I can prove." My blood went cold. "You're threatening me?" "I'm reminding you of reality. You think you can just walk away from me? Fire me? I own pieces of you that you don't even know about. Contracts you signed without reading. Agreements that tie you to me for the next decade. You try to leave, And I'll bury you. The door opened behind me. Troy walked in carrying a briefcase. David's eyes widened. What the hell is he doing here? He's my lawyer, I said. He's a law student. He's my brother. And he's been doing something you clearly forgot to do, protecting me. Troy set the briefcase on David's desk, opened it, pulled out a thick folder. We know everything, Troy said calmly. Every fake investment, every shell company, every offshore account. We have bank statements, wire transfers, forged documents, all of it. David's face went pale. You have no right to access my private... They're not your accounts, Troy interrupted. They're Marcus's, or they're supposed to be. But you've been siphoning money into your own accounts for years. $8 million we can prove. Probably more we haven't found yet. You can't prove anything. Troy pulled out another document, slid it across the desk. This is a forensic analysis from a financial investigator. Took him 3 days to trace everything. Want to guess what he found? David picked up the document. His hands were shaking. Actually shaking. This is illegal. You can't just investigate someone without... Without what? I said. Without your permission? These are my accounts, David. My money. I have every right to know where it went. He dropped the document, sat down heavily in his chair, looked older suddenly, smaller. What do you want? He asked quietly. I want my money back. All of it. Today. I don't have 8 million liquid. Then sell something. Your car. Your house. Your boat. I don't care. You have 72 hours to return every dollar you stole from me. And if I can't? Troy spoke up. Then we file criminal charges. Wire fraud. Embezzlement. Breach of fiduciary duty. You'll do time, David. Real time. And your business will be destroyed. Every client you have will drop you. Every deal you've made will be investigated. Your name will be synonymous with fraud. David looked at me. Really looked at me. Marcus, please. We can work this out. I made mistakes. I admit that. But we're family. We've been through everything together. Family doesn't steal from family. I was trying to protect you. By robbing me? By making sure you'd be taken care of. The investments I made, they were going to pay off. Long term. You just had to trust me. The investments don't exist, David. There is no long term. There's just you taking my money and spending it on yourself. He put his head in his hands. I never meant for it to go this far. How far did you mean for it to go? I was borrowing, that's all. Borrowing against future earnings. I was going to pay it back. When? Silence. That's what I thought, I said. Troy pulled out one more document. This is a separation agreement. You return the money within 72 hours, you sign away all claims to Marcus, and we don't press charges. You get to keep your business, your reputation, your freedom. And if I sign this, you never contact Marcus again. You never speak about him publicly. You never represent another athlete. You're done. David read through the agreement. Pages and pages of legal terms. His life's work ending in a signature. You're really going to do this? He asked, looking at me. You did this. Not me. I made you. No, you sold me. There's a difference. He picked up a pen, stared at it, then at me. You were nobody when I found you. Maybe. But at least I was real. He signed. Each page, each clause, each nail in the coffin of our relationship. When he finished, Troy collected the documents, put them back in the briefcase. 72 hours, Troy said. Wire instructions are in the agreement. Don't make us come looking for you. David didn't respond. Just sat there staring at his desk, the desk where he'd built an empire, where he'd controlled careers, where he'd turned trust into profit. I turned to leave, stopped at the door. David? He looked up. I'm sorry it ended like this. No, you're not. You're right, I'm not. I walked out. Troy followed. We didn't speak until we were in the elevator, until the doors closed and we were alone. You okay? Troy asked. No, but I will be. The elevator descended. I watched the numbers count down. 32 floors, each one feeling lighter than the last. In the garage, I leaned against my car, felt the weight of 6 years lifting off my shoulders, the weight of trust misplaced, of friendship betrayed, of control surrendered. What now? Troy asked. Now I figure out who I am without him. You're Marcus Thompson, all-star, champion, my brother. That's who I've been. I need to figure out who I want to be. My phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Marcus Thompson? Yeah, who's this? Rachel Martinez. We met a few years ago. I'm a reporter with ESPN. My stomach dropped. How did you get this number? I have my sources. Look, I'm working on a story about sports agents who exploit their clients. Your name came up. I was hoping we could talk. I closed my eyes. Not interested. I understand this is sensitive, but there are other players being victimized right now. Your story could help them. My story is private. For now. But Marcus, people are already talking. Word gets out in this industry. You can either control the narrative or let someone else write it for you. I hung up, looked at Troy. This is going to get out, isn't it? Eventually. These things always do. And when it does, I'm going to look like an idiot. Or you're going to look like someone who had the courage to stand up to corruption. I wanted to believe him. Wanted to believe there was a version of this story that didn't end with me being humiliated on every sports network in the country. But I'd been in the league long enough to know how the media worked. They didn't care about truth. They cared about headlines. An NBA star swindled by agent was one hell of a headline. We drove separately back to my place. I needed time alone, time to process, time to figure out what came next. The house was quiet when I got home. Too quiet. I walked through room after room, each one a reminder of the life I'd built. The life David had helped me build. How much of it was tainted now? I ended up in my trophy room. 2 championship rings in a glass case. All-star jerseys, photos with presidents, celebrities, legends. My whole career, documented and displayed. But looking at it now, all I could see was the cost. The trust I'd given away. The control I'd surrendered. The person I'd stopped being in pursuit of being someone else. My phone buzzed. Text from Coach Harrison. Heard you were at David's office this morning? Everything okay? Word traveled fast in this business. Too fast. I called him. He picked up on the first ring. Talk to me, Marcus. I fired David. A pause. About time. You knew? I suspected. Seen it happen too many times. Agents who get too close, take too much, players who trust too easily. Why didn't you say something? Would you have listened? Probably not. Maybe. The thing about betrayal, Marcus, is that you have to discover it yourself. Otherwise, you'll always wonder if you made the right choice. I don't wonder. I know he was stealing from me. That's the easy part. The hard part is figuring out why you let it happen. The words stung because they were true. David didn't force me to sign those papers. Didn't hold a gun to my head. I gave him power because it was easier than taking responsibility. Easier than admitting I didn't know what I was doing. I was stupid, I said. You were trusting. Not the same thing. Feels the same. Only if you let it. Marcus, you're 28 years old. You have a decade left in this league if your body holds up. This isn't the end of your story, it's just a chapter. A painful one, but not the end. What if the media destroys me over this? Then you get back up. You always do. That's who you are. That's who you've always been. Long before David, long before the money and the fame, you're a fighter. Don't forget that. We talked for another 20 minutes. About the team, the upcoming season, life after basketball, normal things, human things. When I hung up, I felt steadier. Not healed, but steadier. I made myself lunch, sat on my patio, looked out at the view I'd paid millions for, the city stretching endlessly below, proof of success, proof of arrival. But sitting there alone, eating a sandwich in a house too big for one person, I realized something. I'd spent 6 years chasing the wrong thing, chasing wealth, chasing fame, chasing validation from people who didn't matter. And in doing that, I'd lost sight of what actually mattered. Family, trust, truth. The things that made me who I was before the world told me who I should be. My phone buzzed again. This time it was a text from David. I never meant to hurt you. I hope you believe that. I stared at the message. Part of me wanted to respond. Wanted to tell him exactly how much he'd hurt me, how much damage he'd done. But I didn't. Because giving him my anger meant giving him power. And I was done giving him anything. I deleted the message. Blocked his number. Troy showed up an hour later. We sat on the patio together. Didn't talk much. Just brothers. Being present. Being real. You think he'll pay? I asked eventually. He will. He's too scared not to. And if he doesn't, then we ruin him. I nodded. Felt the weight of that decision. The power to destroy someone's life. The same power David had held over me for years. I don't want to be like him, I said. You're not. You're giving him a choice. That's more than he gave you. The sun was setting, orange and purple painting the sky. Another day ending. Another day survived. Thank you, I said to Troy, for having my back. Always. We sat there until dark, until the city lights came on below us, until the world felt a little less heavy. Tomorrow would bring new challenges. questions from the media, conversations with my team, the slow process of rebuilding trust in myself. But tonight, sitting with my brother, watching the city breathe below us, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. Not the false hope that David had sold me. Not the hollow promise of wealth and fame. Real hope. The kind that comes from knowing who you are. From understanding your worth beyond what you can produce. From recognizing that betrayal doesn't define you unless you let it. I'd been Marcus Thompson, the brand, for 6 years. The product. The asset. Now I had to figure out how to be Marcus Thompson, the person again. And that journey, as painful as it would be, felt like the first honest thing I'd done in years. You ready for what comes next? Troy asked. No, but I'm done running from it. He smiled. That's my brother. We stayed out there until midnight, talking, planning, healing. And when I finally went to bed that night, I slept, really slept, for the first time in months, because I knew something I hadn't known before. I was going to be okay, not because of my money or my fame or my career, but because I'd finally learned the most important lesson of my life. The only person who could truly protect me was myself, and I wasn't going to forget that again. The story broke 3 days later, not the way I wanted it to, not on my terms. But that's the thing about secrets in this business. They don't stay buried for long. I was at practice when my phone started blowing up. Text after text, call after call, my publicist, my teammates, my mother, even players from other teams I barely knew. Coach Harrison pulled me aside during a water break. You see it yet? He asked. See what? He handed me his phone. ESPN's website. Front page. The headline read, NBA star Marcus Thompson parts ways with agent David Sterling amid financial dispute. Sources say millions unaccounted for. My stomach dropped. The article was careful. No direct accusations. Just enough detail to make people wonder, to make them ask questions, to make me look either like a victim or a fool, depending on who was reading. How did they get this? I asked. Does it matter? It did. But Coach was right. The damage was done. The story was out there. And now I had to deal with it. I walked off the court, headed to the locker room, pulled out my phone. 17 missed calls, 43 texts, 6 voicemails. I called Troy first. You see it? He asked immediately. Yeah. Who leaked it? Could be anyone. David's other clients, someone in his office, maybe even David himself trying to control the narrative. What do? We stick to the plan. Say nothing. Let our lawyers handle it. The separation agreement has a non-disclosure clause. If he's talking, he's violating it. And if I'm the one who looks bad in all this? A pause. Then we tell your side. But Marcus, once you start talking, you can't stop. The media will tear apart every word, every detail. Are you ready for that? Was I? Ready to have my financial illiteracy displayed for the world? Ready to admit I'd been so focused on basketball that I'd let someone else control my entire life? I don't know, I said, honestly. Then we wait, see how this plays out. I hung up, sat there in the empty locker room, could hear my teammates on the court, the sound of basketballs bouncing, shoes squeaking, whistles blowing, normal sounds, the sounds of a life that suddenly felt very far away. My phone rang again. Rachel Martinez, the reporter who'd called a few days ago. Against my better judgment, I answered. Marcus Thompson, Mr. Thompson, thank you for taking my call. I know this is a difficult time. What do you want? I want to hear your side. The article that ran today, it's incomplete. I'm working on a longer piece about agent misconduct in professional sports. Your story could help a lot of people. Or it could make me look like an idiot who can't manage his own money. Only if that's the story you want to tell. But from what I've learned about David Sterling, you're not the first client he's done this to. And you won't be the last unless someone speaks up. That got my attention. What do you mean I'm not the first? I've been investigating Sterling for 6 months. I have testimony from 2 other players. Both had similar experiences. Money disappearing, fake investments, intimidation tactics. But they won't go on record. They're afraid of the backlash. And you think I should? I think you have a choice. Let David Sterling control this narrative or take control of it yourself. I closed my eyes, thought about what Coach said. About this being just a chapter, not the whole story. If I talk to you, I need guarantees. No sensationalism, no making me look stupid, just the facts. You have my word. A reporter's word doesn't mean much. Then let me earn your trust. Meet with me. Off the record. Just a conversation. If you don't like where it's going, you walk away. No story. I shouldn't have agreed. Should have listened to Troy. Should have kept my mouth shut and let the lawyers handle everything. But something in her voice made me believe her. Made me think maybe, just maybe, there was a way to turn this nightmare into something useful. One conversation, I said. Tomorrow, somewhere private. Thank you, Marcus. You're doing the right thing. I wasn't sure about that, but I was sure I was tired of feeling powerless. Practice ended. My teammates avoided eye contact, not out of malice, just awkwardness. What do you say to someone whose life is falling apart in public? Only one person approached me. Kevin Harris, point guard. Been in the league 15 years. Seen everything. You good? He asked. Not really. Yeah, figured. He sat down next to me on the bench. You know what the worst part of this business is? What? Everyone wants a piece of you. Agents, managers, hangers-on. They see you as a paycheck, not a person. And by the time you figure that out, they've already taken what they came for. You speaking from experience? Everyone in this league is speaking from experience. Some just hide it better than others. He stood up, put his hand on my shoulder. You'll get through this. Keep your head up, focus on the game. Everything else is just noise. Feels like pretty loud noise. Then turn it down. Only person whose opinion matters is the one in the mirror. He walked away. Left me sitting there alone. I showered, changed, drove home. The whole way my phone kept buzzing. Social media was exploding. Half the people defending me, half calling me stupid. Everyone with an opinion about my life. I turned my phone off, threw it in the glove compartment. The house was empty when I got home. No surprise there. It was always empty. I'd bought this place thinking it would make me happy. 8,000 square feet. Pool, home theater, 6 bedrooms I never used. Space for a family I didn't have. All that money, all that success, and I'd never felt more alone. I made dinner, sat at a dining table that could seat 12, ate by myself. The doorbell rang around 8. I wasn't expecting anyone. Checked the security camera. Troy. I let him in. He had a pizza box and a 6-pack of beer. Figured you might need company, he said. I thought we weren't supposed to talk until we had a strategy. Strategy can wait. Right now, you need your brother. We sat on the couch, ate pizza, drank beer, watched some mindless TV show neither of us cared about. You holding up okay? Troy asked after a while. I don't know. Everything feels surreal, like I'm watching my life fall apart from the outside. It's not falling apart. It's just changing. Same thing. No, falling apart is giving up. Changing is adapting. You're doing the latter. I wanted to believe him. I talked to that reporter, Rachel Martinez. Troy's jaw tightened. Marcus, we discussed this. No media until we have a plan. She says David did this to other players, that I can help them by telling my story. Or she's playing you to get a headline. Maybe. But what if she's not? What if staying quiet just lets David keep doing this to other people? Troy set down his beer, looked at me. Is that what this is really about? Helping other people? Or is it about salvaging your reputation? The question stung because I didn't know the answer. Both, maybe. Is that so wrong? No. But be honest with yourself about your motivations, because once you start talking, you can't take it back. Every word will be analyzed, every detail questioned. Your whole financial history will be public record. My whole financial history is already a mess. Might as well own it. Troy sighed. When are you meeting her? Tomorrow. Coffee shop in Santa Monica. Somewhere public but quiet. I'm coming with you. Troy, I'm coming. As your lawyer and your brother. You don't do this alone. I nodded. Grateful, exhausted, overwhelmed. We finished the pizza. Troy crashed on the couch. Said he didn't want me to be alone tonight. I went to bed but couldn't sleep. Kept thinking about the article, about David reading it, about what he was planning next. Around midnight, I got up, walked through the house, ended up in my home gym, put on gloves, started hitting the heavy bag. Each punch felt good, cathartic. Like I was hitting back at everything that had been hitting me. David, the media, the doubters, myself. I hit until my knuckles were raw, until sweat soaked through my shirt, until my mind finally quieted enough to think clearly. This wasn't just about money. It was about power, about taking back control of my life, about refusing to be a victim. And maybe Troy was right. Maybe I couldn't control the narrative. Maybe the media would twist everything no matter what I said. But I could control how I responded. I could choose courage over fear, truth over silence. I could choose to be more than just another cautionary tale. The next morning, Troy and I drove to Santa Monica. The coffee shop was small, tucked away on a side street, the kind of place where nobody would recognize me. Rachel was already there, mid-30s, professional, sharp eyes that missed nothing. Marcus, thank you for meeting me. She shook my hand, nodded to Troy. And you are? Troy Thompson, Marcus's brother and legal counsel. Of course, she gestured to the table. Shall we? We sat. She pulled out a notebook, not a recorder, just paper and pen. I want to start by saying this is completely off the record unless you explicitly tell me otherwise. This is just a conversation. If at any point you're uncomfortable, we stop. Fair? Fair, I said. She leaned forward. Tell me about David Sterling. How did you meet him? And just like that, the story poured out. 6 years of trust. 6 years of manipulation. The small red flags I ignored. The questions I didn't ask. The control I surrendered. Rachel listened. Took notes, asked smart questions, didn't judge, didn't interrupt. Troy watched her carefully, lawyer eyes, looking for traps, looking for angles. But the more I talked, the more I realized this wasn't about traps. It was about truth. How much did he take? Rachel asked. 8 million that we can prove. Maybe more. She wrote that down. And you're pursuing legal action? We have a separation agreement. He has 72 hours to return the money or we press charges. Do you think he'll pay? I looked at Troy. He shrugged. Honestly, I don't know. David's desperate. Desperate people do unpredictable things. Rachel nodded. I want to show you something. She pulled out a folder. Inside were documents, bank statements, emails, legal filings. This is what I've gathered on David Sterling over the past 6 months. 3 other clients with similar stories. Millions unaccounted for. Threats when they tried to leave. One player filed a lawsuit, then dropped it mysteriously. Another declared bankruptcy, even though he'd made over 50 million in his career. I looked through the documents, felt sick. This wasn't just about me. This was a pattern, a system. Why hasn't anyone stopped him? I asked. Because players are ashamed. They don't want to look stupid. Don't want to admit they were taken advantage of, so they stay quiet. And David keeps operating. Until now, Troy said. Rachel looked at me. Marcus, I know this is hard, but your story could change things. It could give other players the courage to come forward. It could force the league to implement better protections. Or it could make me a laughingstock. Only if you let it. If you own your story, if you're honest about what happened and how you're fixing it, people will respect that. But if you hide, if you let David control the narrative, then yes, you'll look weak. I sat back, thought about Coach Harrison's words, about this being just a chapter, about getting back up. What do you need from me? I asked. An on-the-record interview, full transparency, your side of the story, and permission to investigate David Sterling's business practices using what you've learned. Troy shook his head. That could violate the separation agreement. Not if Marcus doesn't reveal confidential information. He can talk about his own experience without disclosing David's financial details. I looked at my brother. He didn't look happy, but he didn't say no. Give us 24 hours, I said to Rachel. Let me talk to my team, my family. If I'm doing this, I'm doing it right. Fair enough. She stood, handed me her card. Call me when you're ready. And Marcus, I know this feels scary, but you're doing something important. Remember that. She left. Troy and I sat there in silence. You're really going to do this? He asked. I think I have to. Why? Because Coach was right. This is just a chapter, and I get to write the ending. I can either let David write it for me, or I can take control. It's going to get ugly. It's already ugly. Might as well make it mean something. We drove back to my place, spent the rest of the day strategizing. What I'd say, what I wouldn't say, how to frame the story without making myself the victim. My phone rang around 5. Unknown number. I answered. Marcus Thompson? Yeah. This is Detective Sarah Chen with the LAPD Financial Crimes Unit. I'm calling about your complaint against David Sterling. My heart stopped. I haven't filed a complaint. Someone did. This morning. Anonymous tip about potential wire fraud and embezzlement. Your name was mentioned. I need you to come in for a statement. I looked at Troy. Mouthed, police. He grabbed the phone. This is Troy Thompson, Mr. Thompson's attorney. We'll need to schedule this through proper channels. What's your direct line? They talked for a few minutes. Set up a meeting for tomorrow. When Troy hung up, his face was grim. Someone reported David to the police. If I had to guess, it was one of his other clients. Or maybe Rachel trying to force the issue. What does this mean? It means this just became a criminal investigation, which means everything we say and do is now part of a legal case. which means we need to be very, very careful. My phone buzzed. Text from David. I know you talked to the police. Big mistake, Marcus. Huge mistake. I showed Troy. He read it. His jaw clenched. He's panicking. That's good. Means he knows we have him. Or it means he's about to do something stupid. Troy stood up, started pacing. We need to accelerate the timeline. If David thinks he's going down, he might try to destroy evidence, move money, disappear. What do? We tell the police everything. Tomorrow, full cooperation. And we tell Rachel to run her story, now, before David has a chance to spin this. Are you sure? No, but playing defense isn't working. Time to go on offense. I called Rachel, told her I was ready. She said she could have the story ready in 48 hours. 2 days. 2 days until my life became public property. 2 days until everyone knew I'd been played. That night, I called my mother. Baby, I saw the news. Are you okay? I'm handling it, Ma. I'm so sorry this happened to you. I'm so sorry I didn't see it sooner. It's not your fault, it's mine. I should have paid attention, should have asked questions. You trusted someone, that's not a crime. Feels like it. Marcus, listen to me. You're going to get through this. You're strong. You've always been strong. Don't let this break you. I'm trying, Ma, I really am. I know, baby, I know. We talked until I felt steadier, until the fear felt manageable. After I hung up, I walked out onto my patio, looked at the city below. Millions of lights, millions of lives, all of them moving forward, unaware of my personal crisis. The world didn't stop because I was hurting. Life kept going, and somehow I had to find a way to keep going with it. Troy came outside, stood next to me. You ready for what comes next? He asked. No, but I'm done running from it. Good, because tomorrow we fight back. We stood there together, brothers, allies, ready for war. I didn't know how this would end. Didn't know if I'd get my money back. Didn't know if I'd ever trust anyone the same way again. But I knew one thing. I wasn't going to let David Sterling define me. I was Marcus Thompson, NBA player, brother, son, survivor. And I was going to take my life back, no matter what it cost. The meeting with Detective Chen was scheduled for 9 in the morning. Troy and I arrived 15 minutes early. The police station was nothing like I expected. No dramatic music, no intense interrogation rooms like you see in movies, just fluorescent lights, uncomfortable chairs, and the smell of burnt coffee. Detective Chen was younger than I thought she'd be. Early 40s, maybe. Sharp suit, sharper eyes. She shook our hands with a grip that meant business. Mr. Thompson, thank you for coming in. I know this isn't easy. Just want to get it over with, I said. She led us to a conference room, set up a recording device, pulled out a thick folder. I've been reviewing the information we received. Anonymous tip came in yesterday morning. Detailed allegations against David Sterling. Wire fraud, embezzlement, forgery. The tipster provided account numbers, wire transfers, dates. Very specific information. Do you know who sent it? Troy asked. No, but whoever it was had access to Sterling's internal documents, either a former employee or another client. She opened the folder, showed us documents I recognized. My account statements, investment agreements, wire transfers to offshore accounts. How did you get these? I asked. They were included in the anonymous tip, along with similar documents from 3 other athletes. She looked at me directly. Mr. Thompson, I need to know, did you or your legal counsel provide these documents to anyone outside your immediate team? No. We've been extremely careful about who has access. Then, someone in Sterling's organization is cooperating, or someone hacked his systems. Either way, this gives us enough to open a formal investigation. Troy leaned forward. What does that mean for Marcus? It means he's a witness, not a suspect, but I need his full cooperation. Everything he knows about Sterling's business practices, every document, every conversation, every red flag. For the next 3 hours, I told her everything. The same story I'd told Rachel Martinez, but this time with more detail, more dates, more proof. Detective Chen took notes, asked questions, cross-referenced information. By the end, she had a timeline of David's operation going back 4 years. This is extensive, she said. If even half of what you're telling me is accurate, Sterling's looking at serious time. 10 years minimum. The words hit me harder than I expected. 10 years. David's life destroyed. Because of me. Troy must have seen it on my face. Marcus didn't ask for this. He's the victim here. I know, but I also know it's hard to be responsible for someone else's downfall, even when they deserve it. Detective Chen closed the folder. Mr. Thompson, I want you to understand something. What Sterling did to you, he's been doing to others for years. We've had whispers about him. Complaints that never went anywhere because players were too embarrassed to press charges. You coming forward might be what finally stops him. Or it might destroy my reputation in the process. Only if you let it. The way I see it, you have two choices. Hide and let Sterling control the narrative. Or stand up and show other players they don't have to be victims. Same thing Rachel had said. Same choice. Over and over. What happens next? I asked. We continue our investigation. Interview Sterling. Seize his financial records. Build a case. If everything checks out, we'll make an arrest within the week. And what do I do in the meantime? Live your life. Play basketball. Don't contact Sterling. Don't make any public statements until you talk to the DA's office. And prepare yourself. This is going to get messy before it gets better. We left the station around noon. The sun was too bright, the world too normal, like nothing had changed even though everything had. Troy's phone rang. He looked at the screen. It's Rachel Martinez. Answer it. He put it on speaker. Troy, I need to talk to Marcus. Now. He's right here. Marcus, listen. I'm running the story tomorrow, but I just got a call from David Sterling. He wants to give his side. Says you're lying. Says he has proof you authorized all the transactions. Claims you're only coming after him because you're broke and need someone to blame. My blood ran cold. That's bullshit. I know, but he's convincing. And he has documents. Emails supposedly from you approving investments. Text messages about financial decisions. He's building a counter-narrative. The emails are fake. They have to be. Can you prove it? I looked at Troy. He was already pulling out his phone, scrolling through old messages. We can prove it, Troy said. Marcus uses a specific email for business. Sterling has access to it. He could have sent emails from Marcus's account. We can get the IP addresses, show they came from Sterling's office, not Marcus's location. How fast can you get that information? Rachel asked. 24 hours. That's how long you have. Sterling's interview runs tomorrow morning. If I don't have proof he's lying by tomorrow night, his version becomes the truth. She hung up. Troy was already calling someone. His tech-savvy friend from law school. The one who helped us trace David's financial schemes. I need you to pull email metadata, Troy said. Yeah, it's urgent. How fast can you do it? I walked away. Couldn't listen. Couldn't process. Just needed air. I ended up sitting on a bench outside the police station, watching people walk by. Normal people with normal problems. Nobody trying to destroy their lives. Nobody fighting battles in public. My phone buzzed. Text from Coach Harrison. Team meeting in 1 hour. Need you there. I texted back. What's it about? His response was immediate. You. The team needs to hear from you. Not the media. You. My stomach tightened, facing my teammates. Explaining how I'd been stupid enough to trust the wrong person. Admitting I'd been asleep at the wheel while someone robbed me blind. But Coach was right. They deserved to hear it from me. Troy finished his call, sat down next to me. He can have the metadata by tonight. Trace every email back to its source. If David sent anything from your account, we'll know. And if he didn't, if those emails are real, then we find another angle. But Marcus, I've seen your emails. You don't write like that. Don't use those terms. It's fake. We just have to prove it. What if we can't? We will. His confidence should have made me feel better. But all I felt was tired. Tired of fighting. Tired of defending myself. Tired of watching my life become a spectacle. I have a team meeting in an hour, I said. Want me to come? No. This is something I need to do alone. We drove to the practice facility in silence. Troy dropped me off. Said he'd be working on the email evidence. Said to call if I needed him. I walked into the building. Could hear voices from the locker room. The team was already there, waiting. I pushed open the door. Conversation stopped. Everyone turned. Looked at me. Kevin Harris broke the silence. There he is. The man of the hour. A few guys laughed. Nervous laughter. Not sure how to handle this. Coach Harrison stood at the front. Take a seat, Marcus. I sat. Felt 20 pairs of eyes on me. Coach cleared his throat. I'm sure you've all seen the news. Marcus is dealing with some personal issues. Financial issues with his former agent. I wanted to give him a chance to address it, to speak his truth, because whatever you're reading out there, whatever people are saying, you deserve to hear it from him directly. He stepped aside, gave me the floor. I stood up, felt my legs shake, tried to find words that made sense. I know what you've heard, about David, about the money, about how stupid I was to let it happen. I paused. looked at their faces, some sympathetic, some judgmental, all waiting. The truth is, they're right. I was stupid. I trusted someone I shouldn't have. Gave him control over my finances because I was too focused on basketball to pay attention, and he stole from me. Millions of dollars. Money I worked my whole life for. Silence. I'm not telling you this to get sympathy. I'm telling you this because I don't want any of you to make the same mistake. Don't trust anyone blindly. Not your agent, not your financial advisor, not anyone. Ask questions. Demand transparency. Protect yourself because no one else will. More silence. Then Kevin spoke up. You pressing charges? Police are investigating. If they find enough evidence, yeah, I'm pressing charges. Good. Guy deserves to rot. A few others nodded, murmured agreement. Then Marcus Hayes, our rookie shooting guard, raised his hand like we were in school. Yeah, Marcus, I said. My agent, he's been asking me to sign some papers. Investment stuff. Says it's standard. But now I'm wondering if I should get a second opinion. Get 10 opinions. Read everything. Ask questions about anything you don't understand, and if your agent gets defensive or tries to rush you, that's a red flag. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Another teammate spoke up, then another. Questions about agents, about contracts, about who to trust and how to protect themselves. For the next 30 minutes, we talked. Really talked. Not about basketball, about life, about the business side of this game that no one prepares you for. And something shifted. The judgment I'd felt walking in turned into solidarity. These guys understood. They'd all dealt with vultures trying to get a piece of them. I wasn't alone in this. Coach Harrison finally called time. All right, enough talk. Let's practice. Marcus, you good? Yeah, coach. I'm good. We hit the court, ran drills, scrimmaged. For 2 hours I forgot about David, about the investigation, about the media circus. For 2 hours I was just a basketball player, doing what I loved, with guys who had my back. After practice, I showered, changed, checked my phone. 3 texts from Troy. Got the metadata. You're going to want to see this. I called him. What did you find? Every email David claims you sent approving those investments, they were all sent from an IP address in Sterling's office, between midnight and 3 a.m., when you were either at practice or at home. We have your location data from your phone to prove it. Relief flooded through me. So we can prove he faked them? Absolutely. I'm sending everything to Rachel now. She'll have her story by tonight. What about David? Has he responded to the investigation? No, but his lawyers released a statement. Says he's cooperating fully with authorities. Says he's confident he'll be cleared of all charges. Standard lawyer speak. You think he will be? Cleared? Not a chance. The evidence is overwhelming. He's done, Marcus. It's just a matter of time. I should have felt victorious. Should have felt vindicated. But all I felt was sad. Sad that it had come to this. Sad that someone I'd trusted had forced me to destroy him. You okay? Troy asked. Yeah, just processing. Listen, I know this is hard, but you did the right thing. Remember that. I will. I hung up, sat in my car, didn't start the engine, just sat there in the parking garage, alone with my thoughts. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. Marcus Thompson. Marcus, it's David. My whole body tensed. You're not supposed to contact me. The separation agreement. Screw the agreement. We need to talk. I have nothing to say to you. Please, just give me 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking. I should have hung up. Should have called Troy. Should have done anything except listen. But I couldn't help it. Part of me needed to hear what he had to say. 5 minutes talk. I screwed up. I know that. I made mistakes. Took money I shouldn't have taken. But Marcus, you have to understand. The pressure, the expenses, trying to maintain the business. It got away from me. You stole from me, David. For years. That's not a mistake. That's a choice. I was going to pay it back, I swear. I just needed time. Time? You had 6 years. How much more time did you need? I know how this looks, but I never meant to hurt you. You were like a son to me. The words made me sick. Don't you dare pretend this was about anything other than money. It wasn't just about money. I believed in you. Still do. We can fix this. Drop the charges. Let me make it right. It's too late for that. It's not. The police don't have enough to charge me. Just some circumstantial evidence. Without your testimony, they have nothing. So that's what this is about? You want me to protect you? I want you to remember who I am. Who I've been to you. I made you, Marcus. Don't forget that. The mask was slipping. The desperation creeping in. You didn't make me. I made me. You just took advantage of it. You're making a mistake. If you do this, if you testify, I'll have no choice but to defend myself. And that means exposing things. Things you don't want public. The threat was clear. What things? The club incident. The paternity test. The gambling debts. All the messes I cleaned up for you. Think they'll still love you when they know the truth? My heart pounded. Those things never happened. You're lying. Am I? Or did I just protect you so well that you don't even remember? You're desperate. And desperate people say desperate things. I'm giving you a chance, Marcus. Back off. Drop the charges. Let me return the money quietly. And we both walk away. I can't do that. Then you're going to regret it. I promise you that. The line went dead. I sat there shaking, not from fear, from rage. How dare he? How dare he threaten me? After everything he'd done. I called Troy immediately, told him about the call. He's bluffing, Troy said. Classic intimidation tactic. There are no scandals, no incidents. He's making it up to scare you. What if he's not? Then we deal with it. But Marcus, think about it. If he had real dirt on you, he would have used it already. This is his last card, and it's a fake. Are you sure? I'm sure. Don't let him get in your head. That's what he wants. Troy was right. I knew he was right, but the doubt was there now, planted like a seed. What if David really did have something? What if there were things I'd forgotten, things he'd hidden from me? I drove home, made dinner, tried to eat but couldn't. Around 8 p.m., Rachel called. Marcus, I'm running the story tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. It's going to be comprehensive. Your full interview, the evidence of David's fraud, everything. And David's side? I included his statement, but I also included proof that he fabricated evidence, the IP addresses, the metadata, everything Troy sent me. By the time people finish reading, there won't be any doubt about who's telling the truth. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. Once this goes live, the media is going to descend on you. Phone calls, interview requests, cameras outside your house. Are you prepared for that? No, but I'll deal with it. Good. One more thing. Detective Chen called me. Said the DA's office is planning to file charges against David on Friday. Thought you should know. Friday. That's 2 days away. Yeah, it's happening, Marcus. You did it. You stopped him. After we hung up, I walked out onto my patio. The city was alive below. Lights everywhere. Life continuing. Tomorrow, my story would be out there. The truth. My truth. And I'd have to live with whatever came next. Troy came over around 10. We sat up late, talking about nothing important. Just being there for each other. Around midnight, I finally went to bed. Laid there in the dark. Thought about everything that had happened. Everything that was about to happen. 6 years with David. 6 years of trust. 6 years of building a life together. All of it gone in 2 weeks. But as I laid there, I realized something. I wasn't the same person I was 2 weeks ago. That Marcus Thompson had been naive, trusting, asleep. This Marcus Thompson was awake, alert, ready to face whatever came next, ready to rebuild, ready to be more than just a cautionary tale. The story would go live in 6 hours, and with it, the next chapter of my life would begin. I didn't know what that chapter would look like. Didn't know if I'd ever fully trust anyone again. Didn't know if my reputation would survive. But I knew one thing. I was done being a victim. From now on, I was taking control. And no one, not David, not the media, not anyone, was going to take that away from me again. The story dropped at 6 a.m. I was already awake, had been for hours, sitting in my kitchen, coffee getting cold, phone face down on the table, waiting. Troy had stayed over again. He emerged from the guest room looking as tired as I felt. You ready? He asked. No, but let's do it anyway. He picked up his laptop, pulled up ESPN's website. There it was, front page, banner headline, Betrayed. How NBA star Marcus Thompson's agent stole millions while building an empire on lies. Rachel's byline, her photo, her words telling my story. I started reading. Every sentence felt like reliving it. The trust, the betrayal, the evidence, the lies. She'd done exactly what she promised. No sensationalism, just facts, cold, hard truth. She included David's response, his denials, his claims that I'd authorized everything. And then, methodically, she dismantled every one of his lies. The IP addresses, the metadata, the timeline, the proof that he'd fabricated evidence. By the end, there was no question who was telling the truth. My phone started ringing, then Troy's. Then both our phones were blowing up simultaneously. Teammates, coaches, family, media, everyone wanting a piece of the story. Troy fielded the calls while I kept reading. The article had a section I didn't expect. Interviews with two other players David had represented, both speaking on record now, both telling similar stories. One of them was Jason Miller, 3-year veteran with the Nets, lost $4 million to David before firing him last year. The other was Chris Robertson, retired now, but he'd lost his entire career earnings, $12 million, gone. He'd declared bankruptcy 2 years ago, blamed himself, until Rachel found him and showed him he wasn't alone. 3 athletes, 3 victims, $24 million stolen, and David Sterling at the center of it all. Marcus, Troy's voice pulled me back. Detective Chen is on the phone. She wants to talk to you. I took the phone. Hello? Mr. Thompson, I assume you've seen the article? Just finished reading it. Good, because it changed everything. We've had 6 more complaints filed this morning. Former clients, current clients, even some employees from Sterling's firm. The floodgates opened. What does that mean? It means we're making the arrest today, not Friday. Today. I wanted you to know before you see it on the news. My chest tightened. Today. Within the hour. We have enough evidence now for multiple charges. Wire fraud, embezzlement, forgery, money laundering. He's looking at 25 years minimum. 25 years. David's life. Over. Mr. Thompson, you still there? Yeah, I'm here. Thank you for letting me know. One more thing. We're going to need you to testify. Grand jury first, then trial if it goes that far. Are you prepared for that? Was I? Prepared to face David in a courtroom? Prepared to publicly detail every moment of my stupidity? Yeah, I'm prepared. Good. We'll be in touch about scheduling. And Marcus, what you did, coming forward, it took real courage. You should be proud. After we hung up, I sat there, numb. Proud wasn't what I felt. Relief, maybe. Exhaustion, definitely. But pride? That felt too simple for something this complicated. Troy sat down across from me. You okay? They're arresting him today. I know, I heard. 25 years. He earned it. Did he? Or did I push him to this because I couldn't let it go? Troy's expression hardened. Marcus, listen to me. David Sterling made choices. He chose to steal. He chose to lie. He chose to threaten you when you caught him. You didn't push him anywhere. He walked this path himself. Then why do I feel guilty? Because you're human. Because despite everything, part of you still cares about him. That's not weakness. That's who you are. My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered without thinking. Marcus, thank God. I need your help. David's voice. Panicked. Desperate. How are you calling me? You're about to be arrested. I know. They're outside right now. Marcus, please. Tell them this is a mistake. Tell them we can work this out. I'll give everything back. Every penny. Just don't let them do this. I can't help you, David. Yes, you can. You're the only one who can. Please, I'm begging you. Don't let them destroy my life. The words should have moved me, should have made me feel something, but all I felt was empty. You destroyed your own life. You destroyed mine, too. I'm just picking up the pieces. Marcus, goodbye, David. I hung up, blocked the number, turned off my phone. Troy was watching me. That was him? Yeah, begging me to save him. What did you say? No. Troy nodded. Didn't say anything else. Didn't need to. We spent the next hour watching the news. Every station had the story. Marcus Thompson, David Sterling, fraud, betrayal, the biggest sports agent scandal in years. Some reporters were sympathetic, called me brave for coming forward. Others questioned why I'd been so careless, why I hadn't caught it sooner, why I'd trusted blindly. Both narratives were true. Both stung. Around 10 a.m., the footage came through. David Sterling being led out of his office in handcuffs. Cameras everywhere. Reporters shouting questions. David's face a mixture of rage and humiliation. I watched him get put in the back of a police car. Watched the car drive away. Watched the end of an era. Troy turned off the TV. How do you feel? I don't know. Empty? Relieved? Sad? All of it? That's normal. Nothing about this feels normal. My phone buzzed. I'd turned it back on. Text from Coach Harrison. Team practice at noon. Show up. We've got work to do. I texted back. On my way. Troy drove me to the practice facility. Media was camped outside. Cameras, reporters, all waiting for a statement. I pushed through without speaking. Into the building, down the hallway, to the court. The team was already there. Running drills. When I walked in, they stopped. Looked at me. Then Kevin Harris started clapping, slow at first, then faster. Then the whole team joined in, applause echoing through the empty arena. I didn't know what to say, what to do. Coach Harrison walked over, put his hand on my shoulder. Proud of you, son. That took guts. Didn't feel like guts. Felt like survival. Same thing sometimes. We practiced. Hard. Physical. Aggressive. Every drill. Every scrimmage. Pushing ourselves until our bodies couldn't think about anything else. It felt good. Felt right. Felt like coming home. After practice, I showered, changed, checked my phone. 100+ messages. Most from media. Some from friends. A few from family. One stood out. From my mother. I'm so proud of you, baby. Come have dinner tonight. Just family. Just us. I texted back. I'll be there. Before I left, Coach pulled me aside again. You got a new agent yet? Haven't even thought about it. Good. Take your time. Find someone you trust. Or better yet, let Troy handle it. Family first. Troy's still in law school. And he's already proven he's smarter than most agents in this business. Think about it. I drove to my mom's house, the house I grew up in. Small, modest, nothing like my place in the hills. But walking through that door felt like coming home in a way my mansion never did. Mom hugged me tight. Didn't let go for a long time. My strong boy, she whispered. My brave, strong boy. Troy was already there. So was my aunt, my cousin, a few family friends. People who'd known me before the money, before the fame, before everything got complicated. We ate together, laughed together, told stories about when I was a kid, about my first basketball game, about the time I broke my arm and cried more about missing practice than the pain. Normal things, simple things, real things. After dinner, Mom pulled me aside, just the two of us on her back porch. How are you really doing? She asked. Honestly, I don't know. Part of me feels free, part of me feels broken, part of me doesn't know who I am anymore. You're Marcus, my son, that boy who used to practice free throws until his hands bled, who never gave up, who never stopped fighting. That's who you are. The rest is just noise. What if the noise is too loud? What if I can't get past this? Then you don't get past it. You get through it. One day at a time. One choice at a time. Until one day you wake up and realize you survived. Is that what you did? When Dad left? She smiled sadly. Every single day. For years. Until I realized I didn't need him. I had you. I had Troy. I had myself. That was enough. Do you think I'll be enough? Without all the money and success and validation? Baby, you've always been enough. The money didn't make you more. It just made you louder. The words hit me like truth always does. Uncomfortable but necessary. We sat there until dark. Mother and son. No cameras, no expectations, just presence. The next few days were a blur. Media requests, legal meetings, depositions. The grand jury indictment came through. 27 charges against David Sterling. His lawyers tried to negotiate, tried to get him a plea deal, but the DA wasn't interested. This was going to trial, which meant I was going to testify. Rachel's article won an award, Best Investigative Journalism of the Year. She called to thank me. You did this, I told her. Not me. We did it together. And Marcus, you should know. Since the story broke, 14 more players have come forward. Across all sports. Football, baseball, soccer. Your story started a movement. A movement? Yeah. Players taking control of their finances, demanding transparency, refusing to be victims. You changed something important. I didn't feel like I'd changed anything, but maybe that's how change works. Quietly, one person at a time. The trial was set for 3 months away. In the meantime, I had basketball. The season started. We played. We won some. Lost some. Normal season struggles. But I played differently. Freer. Like a weight had been lifted. Like I remembered why I loved this game in the first place. Not for the money, not for the fame, just for the pure joy of competition. My game improved. Stats went up. Team chemistry got better. We started winning more than we lost. People noticed. You seem different, a reporter asked after a game. More focused, more driven. What changed? I remembered who I was, I said. Took me a while, but I got there. Troy graduated law school. Passed the bar. His first client? Me. We restructured everything. New financial advisor, independent accountant, complete transparency, every decision made together. No more blind trust. It felt right. 3 months later, the trial began. I testified for 2 days, told my story, showed the evidence, faced David across the courtroom. He looked different, smaller, older, broken. His lawyers tried to paint me as careless, as willfully ignorant, as complicit in my own victimization. Maybe they were right. Maybe I was all those things, but I was also someone who stood up, who fought back, who refused to stay silent. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. Guilty. All 27 counts. David Sterling was sentenced to 18 years in federal prison, $3 million in restitution, banned from ever representing athletes again. I sat in the courtroom and watched the judge read the sentence, watched David's face crumble, watched his lawyers console him, and I felt nothing. Not joy, not sadness, just acceptance. This was justice. Imperfect, complicated, but justice nonetheless. Outside the courthouse, media swarmed. Questions everywhere. How did I feel? Was I satisfied? Did I forgive him? I feel relief, I said. Relief that it's over. Relief that other players won't go through what I went through. As for forgiveness, I'm working on it. For my sake, not his. That night, Troy and I went to dinner. Just us. Brothers celebrating survival. You did good, he said. We did good. So what now? You've got your money back. Got justice. Got your career back. What's next? I thought about it. Really thought about it. I want to help other players. Start a foundation. Financial literacy. Agent vetting. Support systems. Make sure nobody has to go through what I did. Troy smiled. I was hoping you'd say that. I already started drafting the paperwork. Of course he had. 6 months after the trial, we launched the Marcus Thompson Foundation for Athlete Protection. Free financial education, agent background checks, legal resources, mental health support. Within the first year, we helped over 200 athletes across multiple sports, saved them from bad deals, connected them with trustworthy professionals, gave them tools to protect themselves. It wasn't about me anymore. It was about them, about using my pain to prevent theirs. The media narrative shifted. I went from victim to advocate, from cautionary tale to inspiration. But more importantly, I shifted, internally, fundamentally. I wasn't the same Marcus Thompson who'd walked into David Sterling's office 2 years ago. That Marcus was naive, trusting, asleep. This Marcus was aware, cautious, awake, but not bitter, not closed off, just wiser. I started dating again, slowly, carefully, let myself trust, let myself be vulnerable, met someone, a teacher, outside the sports world, someone who saw me as Marcus, not Marcus Thompson the brand. Her name was Jennifer. She'd never seen me play, didn't care about basketball, just cared about who I was as a person. It was refreshing, terrifying, real. We took it slow, no rush, no pressure, just two people learning each other. One night, sitting on her tiny apartment balcony, drinking cheap wine, she asked me something no one else had. Do you regret it? Everything that happened with David? I thought about it, really thought about it. No, because it taught me something important. What's that? That I'm stronger than I thought. That family matters more than money. That pain can be purposeful if you let it. That trust is earned, not given. That I'm enough, just as I am, without all the noise. She smiled, kissed me. Sounds like you figured it out. Still figuring it out. Every day. But yeah, I'm getting there. 2 years after the trial, I signed a new contract with my team. 5 years, $150 million. But this time, I read every word, asked every question, had Troy review everything, made sure I understood exactly what I was signing. This time, I was in control. The press conference was standard. Questions about the contract, about the upcoming season, about my goals. One reporter asked the question I knew was coming. Marcus, you've been through a lot these past few years. The scandal with your agent, the trial, the foundation. How has it changed you? I paused, looked out at the cameras, at the reporters, at the world watching. It broke me, I said honestly. Completely broke me. Made me question everything I thought I knew about trust and success and who I was. But you know what? Breaking isn't the end. It's just a transformation. The person I was before couldn't handle what I know now. So I had to break, had to rebuild, had to become someone stronger. Any message for other athletes who might be going through similar situations? Yeah, speak up. Don't be ashamed. Don't hide. Your story matters. Your pain matters. And you're not alone. There are people who will help, who will fight for you, who will stand with you, You just have to be brave enough to ask. The season started. We played. We fought. We won the championship that year. When they handed me the trophy, when confetti fell from the ceiling, when my teammates lifted me on their shoulders, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Pure, uncomplicated joy. Not joy from money or fame or validation. Joy from achievement, from teamwork, from doing what I loved with people I trusted. In the locker room after, champagne everywhere, music blaring, Coach Harrison found me. Hell of a journey, son. Yeah, hell of a journey. Worth it? I looked around, at my teammates celebrating, at Troy grinning in the corner, at the trophy gleaming under fluorescent lights, every painful second. That night, I drove to my mom's house, championship trophy in the passenger seat, knocked on her door at 2 a.m. She opened it in her robe, saw me, saw the trophy, started crying. We did it, Ma. No, baby. You did it. We sat at her kitchen table until sunrise, drinking coffee, talking about everything and nothing, mother and son, past and present, pain and triumph. As the sun came up, painting the sky orange and gold, I realized something. I'd spent years chasing success, chasing money, chasing validation from people who didn't matter. But sitting there with my mom, after everything I'd lost and everything I'd gained, I understood what actually mattered. Connection, truth, courage, family, purpose. The things money couldn't buy, the things fame couldn't provide, the things betrayal couldn't take away. I'd lost millions, lost trust, lost innocence, but I'd gained myself, and that was worth more than any contract, any championship, any success. You know what the best part is? I said to my mom. What's that? I'm finally free. Free from David. Free from fear. Free from needing to be anything other than who I am. I'm just Marcus, and that's enough. She reached across the table, took my hand. That's all you ever needed to be. 3 years after the scandal broke, I announced my retirement. Not because I had to, because I wanted to. I'd played 12 years, won 3 championships, made more money than I could spend, achieved everything I'd set out to achieve. But more importantly, I'd found something bigger than basketball. Purpose. The foundation had grown, helped thousands of athletes, changed lives, changed systems, created protections that would help generations. And I wanted to focus on that, full time. All in. My retirement press conference was emotional. Teammates, coaches, family, all there. Troy stood next to me, my agent, my brother, my protector. When they asked what I'd do next, I didn't hesitate. I'm going to help people, athletes who are where I was, vulnerable, trusting, in need of guidance. I'm going to make sure they have the tools and support to protect themselves, to thrive, to be more than just brands or products, to be human. Any regrets? Someone asked. I thought about David, about the money, about the trust I'd given and lost. None, because everything that happened made me who I am, and I like who I am now. Took me a while to get here, but I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere. 5 years after retirement, I married Jennifer. Small ceremony, just family and close friends, no media, no spectacle, just love. Troy was my best man. Mom cried through the whole thing. Coach Harrison gave a speech about resilience and redemption. It was perfect. We bought a house, not in the hills, somewhere quieter, smaller, more us. Had kids. Taught them about hard work and humility, about trusting carefully and protecting themselves, about being human before being successful. The foundation kept growing, started chapters in every major city, helped tens of thousands of athletes, changed the industry. David Sterling served his sentence, got out after 12 years for good behavior, tried to rebuild his life, failed. No one would hire him. No one would trust him. Last I heard, he was living somewhere in the Midwest, working retail. Living small. Part of me felt bad for him, part of me didn't. Mostly I just felt indifferent. He was a chapter in my story, not the whole book. 10 years after everything happened, I got a letter. No return address, just my name and address handwritten on an envelope. Inside was a single page, also handwritten. Marcus, I know I don't have the right to contact you. I know you probably threw this away without reading it. But if you're reading this, I want you to know something. I'm sorry. Not sorry I got caught. Sorry for what I did, for the trust I violated, for the pain I caused, for the person I was. I spent 12 years in prison thinking about my choices, about how I justified them, About how I convinced myself I was helping you while robbing you. I was wrong. About everything. You didn't need me to make you successful. You did that yourself. I just took credit, and money, and trust. I don't expect forgiveness. Don't deserve it. Just wanted you to know that I know what I did. And I'm sorry. I hope you're happy. Hope you found peace. Hope you became everything you were meant to be. Not because of me, despite me. Take care of yourself, Marcus. David. I read the letter 3 times, sat with it, processed it. Then I called Troy. David wrote me a letter. Apologizing? Yeah. How'd you know? Because he's written you 6 letters over the past 10 years. I've been intercepting them. Didn't want him messing with your head. You kept them from me? I was protecting you. Same thing I've always done. Was I wrong? I thought about it. About whether knowing sooner would have changed anything. No, you weren't wrong. But Troy, I think I'm ready now. To forgive him. Not for his sake. For mine. You sure? Yeah, I'm sure. Holding on to anger just weighs me down. I'm ready to let it go. What are you going to do? Nothing. Forgiveness doesn't require contact. It just requires peace. And I have that now. I threw the letter away. Not out of spite. Out of closure. That chapter was over. Had been for years. Time to fully close the book. Now, sitting here, 15 years after everything happened, I can look back and see it clearly. The betrayal that broke me. The pain that transformed me. The journey that made me. I'm 53 years old now. Retired from basketball. Running a foundation that's helped over 50,000 athletes. Married. Father of 3. At peace. David Sterling is 68. Alone. Forgotten. Living with his choices. Some days I wonder what would have happened if I'd never confronted him. If I'd signed those papers. Given him total control. I'd be broke. Broken. Bitter. Instead, I'm whole. Because I learned the most important lesson of my life. No one can protect you better than you protect yourself. No one can advocate for you better than you advocate for yourself. No one can save you but you. Trust is earned. Vigilance is necessary. Boundaries are sacred. And most importantly, breaking isn't the end. It's just the beginning of becoming someone stronger. My story isn't unique. Athletes get exploited every day. People get betrayed by those they trust. Money complicates everything. But here's what I want everyone to know. You can survive it. You can recover. You can transform pain into purpose. It won't be easy. It won't be fast. It won't be painless. But it will be worth it. Because on the other side of betrayal is clarity. On the other side of pain is strength. On the other side of loss is wisdom. I lost millions, lost years, lost innocence, but I gained myself. And that, more than any championship, any contract, any success, is what matters. I'm Marcus Thompson, and this is my story. Not about how I was betrayed, but about how I survived, how I fought back, how I reclaimed my life, and how I became more than what happened to me. That's the ending I choose, the story I own, the legacy I build, not as a victim, not as a cautionary tale, but as a survivor who turned pain into purpose. And that's something no one can ever take from me. Not David Sterling, not the media, not anyone. Because I finally learned what I should have known all along. The most valuable thing I own isn't in my bank account. It's not my trophies or my house or my fame. It's me, my integrity, my resilience, my humanity. And that's something I'll never give away again.